The text messaging part of Grower's Edge is very handy because every day I'll receive a text that shows me where the best local market is.
That's what I like about Grower's Edge too. It gives me the information I want on my smartphone so that if I'm not in the office, I still get the information that I need.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills. Today is Friday the 8th here for the weekly wrap-up. Let's turn over to the Grain Hedge trading platform and see where we close off the day. Corn trading up 1.5 cents to $3.63 on the July contract. Soybeans up a quarter penny here to $9.75 1/4. And wheat in Chicago here up 9 3/4 cents to $4.82 1/2 for that July contract. Let's take a quick look at wheat here as it was leading the charge to the upside today. A nice little bit of short covering. Now I think a lot of this had to do with the news that came out after the market closed here yesterday afternoon. We did get a yield forecast of 35.9 bushels per acre for winter wheat out of Kansas from the Wheat Council. So this was a little bit on the low side of analyst expectations. Typically, the 5-year average for these wheat yield projections is 40.3 bushels per acre. So it was a little bit disappointing. In terms of production here, that would kind of pencil out to 288.5 million bushels compared to a 5-year average of 313.6 million bushels produced out of Kansas. So bottom line here, analysts were expecting somewhere around 300 million bushels. This was a little bit of surprise. I think this is triggering a little bit of short covering here. Basically, these revisions or these forecasts take into account some issues that we've had during this year's growing season, one of which was drought in the earlier part coming out of emergence. The other was some winter kill scenarios throughout the winter, and also some disease there. So all of those are kind of contributing to a little bit of short covering this Friday in the wheat complex, and you can see that here in the daily chart. You'll notice today we're getting kind of moving back up, moving a little bit higher here. But keep in mind that we do have some resistance overhead, and that should play a role here in the early part of next week. Let's talk a little bit about basis. We always talk about this on Fridays. Let's see what we had here for changes. One thing you'll notice is that soybeans here had 0 change in basis. So very sleepy week here for soybeans. This is the second week in a row that we really haven't had much for changes. However, you'll notice along the river, that's where we had some changes. Not much, but we were up 2 cents in terms of average basis along those river terminals. So we are seeing a little bit of strength here along the river, but overall, when you look at basis as a whole across the U.S., not a whole lot of changes here. We did see crush plants down on average 1 cent here, so that is a little bit disappointing. Let's take a little look at corn. You'll notice that on average, basis moved up 2 cents here, but the areas of relative strength, again, along the river. We saw river markets up 4 cents this week. That was very positive. We saw ethanol facilities up 3 cents. So these premium markets seem to be bidding up corn here, and that's a very positive sign, and especially along the rivers. Last week we had a nice little drop in barge rates that has an inverse relationship to basis, kind of helping things out there. Let's talk a little bit about ending stock expectations for the WASDE report that is going to be released here on Tuesday. You'll notice that the average guess is 1.864 billion bushels here for corn. In April, we had 1.827 billion bushels, so we are expecting to see an increase here in ending stocks from corn, expecting to see a drawdown here in ending stocks for soybeans to 360 million bushels from 370 million bushels in the April WASDE report. Keep in mind that this probably is going to be due to more export sales here being added on to the balance sheet, simply because we've had a very, very strong export sales pace. We covered it in yesterday's show, coming out with continued export sales late in the season even when we weren't expecting to see them. So I would expect the USDA to have to make some revisions there. And then we have wheat here. Expectations for ending stocks at 693 million bushels. That's up from 684 million bushels in the last WASDE report. Those are the things that market's going to be watching here on Monday, because the report will be out on Tuesday. Just be cautious. Make sure you're positioned here for this report, and also keep in mind, if you want to be able to view the reaction to this report here live from your phone, even if you're not in the field, it is a great way to keep an eye on market opportunities. Oftentimes after these reports, you'll get the market shooting higher, then followed by a sharp move lower, and then it'll settle out the day somewhere in the middle of that range. So that sort of volatility provides opportunities here to price grain, and of course that's something you don't want to miss out on if you're looking to price grain. So go ahead, take a demo of that 14-day free trial, watch this report and the reaction to it through your mobile phone. You can do so at grainhedge.com. There's a 14-day free trial button in the top right-hand corner. Just click on it, put in your name and number. I'll be in touch with you, make sure that you get the most out of that trial period. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Monday.